All right, welcome CNMS students. Super psyched, super psyched that you're here. We are going to get started in just a few minutes. If you don't already have a handout, just look around. There are some in chairs, maybe to your right or left, but also take a look around to the people to your right or left. We almost wanted to give you a little bit more time so that you were talking to the people in the seats around you, because these will be the same faces that you're going to see in your classes, in your study groups, and it is important to start that process at this point and even in this room as we speak. So welcome. We're very excited to have you here. Some quick introductions. My name is Christine Powers. I'm the Assistant Director for Student Success in the College of Natural Mathematical Sciences. And
my name is Julie Crosby. I'm the Assistant Director for Student Transitions in CNMS.
Yeah, and we're just really pleased to have you here, and we also have the dean of your college here, who is going to get started to kick things off and just tell you a little bit about what we do in this college and what we're about. So, Dr. LaCourse, if you wanted to just say some words.
Thank you very much, Julie, Christine. Welcome to UMBC. Welcome to the College of Mathematical Sciences. I will not be as polished as these two. They do a fabulous job on this. Not only am I dean of the college, I'm a professor of chemistry, and who knows, I may have you in a class one of these days. So just to let you know, the college is here to oversee the departments. We make sure they do a good job with everything, and it's really to ensure that you get the best education by caring faculty and staff to guide you through, which is a really big transition in your life. Change is hard, right? And sometimes scary. And it's just really, you're not alone if you're anxious. And if you're not, fantastic. But there is not going to be one right way to college. And what we're going to do, and you're going to get a lot of good guidance today from these guys to help you with this transition. So I wouldn't, I'd put some trust in them. Today we're going to enter a compact. And that's an agreement, right, between CNMS and each of you. Right? You've all chosen to be CNMS majors, and we're really proud to have you among our students. And that agreement comes with three aspects to it. One is learning. Well, we are here to teach. We've built classrooms, laboratories, hired faculty that want to teach. It's not the same every place, and staff that really care. And I know why you're here. You've come here to learn, right? So this is a great relationship, teaching and learning. There's a commitment that takes place, right? And we have committed our lives to education. The faculty and staff are expert through their education, their own education, professional development that continues, and years of service. So Christine and Julie have years of knowledge and dedication in student success. They have guided thousands, at this point, thousands of students. They know everything about the average. So that's for you math majors out there and everybody else, right? But the real thing is that they will guide each and every one of you and help you to get through this, to get to the next stage. And you've made a commitment too. You've put in our hands your future. We know that. That is a deep responsibility because you have dreams, you have aspirations, or maybe it's just the next thing to do, but while you're here, you'll find out what you want to do. And we've taken your money, right? At least someone's money we've taken in the process. So there's a huge commitment that's taken place here. And then in the end, what's the responsibility, right? Our responsibility is to teach effectively. Not, what's the best way? What's looking into the literature? What works the best? Because you want to learn efficiently. And provide guidance and mentoring. Professional guidance will come from the professional advising staff, but at some point, the faculty will be there to mentor you in a new career, in a direction in life, and where you want to go. And the more important part is we will be there should challenges arise. Right? If you can get through the 4 years and not have one issue, one challenge, one thing that bothers you, more power to you. But often challenges do arise, and this isn't to scare you. It's just part of life, right? And we're here to provide you with first-class education, right? We're here to help you in the process, and we're here to help you through those challenges. And we know what the future we want for your future. We want you to have a bright and happy few years, right? We're here to help you be empowered, right? So you can do what you want, choose to where you want to go, and be what you want to be. Your responsibility is to go to class, right? If you don't go to class, you probably won't hear what's going on there. Do your assignments, do them on time. There's a lot of things you can do to just get those extra points. Why you would throw away those points, I don't know, but you can. And to ask for help early before it snowballs, right? College is a process of scaffolding. You'll be getting foundational courses in the beginning. Those will be your big classes. And that'll build, right? And the next level will be more difficult. The next test will build on the next part of it, right? So as soon as an issue arises, as soon as you need help, that's when you need to come to us. And that's why we have workshops, which I think you're going to hear about. We're going to have the Learning Collaboratory, where these will be held. You're going to have sessions online, in person, right? Every department has a tutorial section of one way or another. You have faculty that have office hours. Take care of those and use them, right? If you want to build a great house, you need to start with a strong foundation. And so some words of wisdom. Number one item that gives you success. Find a community. Find others that you want to be with. People that will support you, even if it's just to wake you up to get to that exam because you have overslept or something like that, right? And in the meantime, where you can support others. We are best when we give to others as much as we can give to ourselves, right? So you're not in competition with each other. That's another important thing. I don't know, we probably have some pre-med out there. You all can go to med school, right? There's nothing here that says that one person, you all will not be able to walk across that stage, right? And that's our job, to help you get there. Don't be afraid or embarrassed to seek help. Ask for help. Demand help. And then what the most important part is that when you're offered help, choose to take it, right? Because we only give advice. We don't mandate it, right? You have to be willing to be helped to get through it. And then finally, think about it, reflect upon what is important in your life and prioritize it. There are things that trump other things, like health. Stay healthy. You'll be able to do more. You'll be able to be more, right? Eat right. I don't know if you can in some of the places we have to feed you, but eat as best as you can, right? Exercise. They build all these gyms and stuff, and they have everything you can do with it. And get some sleep. The power of sleep is really powerful, right? You have lots of freedom that you have right now. You can choose to use that freedom to help you be better, to have to manage your time, and they'll have lessons on how to do time management. But stay healthy. Family is important. Family and those people that really love you. Not those that say they love you, but the ones that really do. They're important, and there are issues there. And they're behind you and supporting you in this endeavor. And remember that while you're here, why did you come to college in the first place, right? Seek knowledge. You're going to learn things. You're going to have your mind opened and changed in a lot of different ways. You're going to gain experiences, especially at UMBC, because applied learning experiences here are big, and they're a good way to incentivize. But most importantly, you're coming here for to be empowered to have a bright future, the future you want, right? So you can make decisions wisely about what you want to do and what you want to become and how you want to live your life. Keep those things in mind, health, family, and why you came here in the first place, and seek what is at the end. So good luck. That's all I got. I'll see you at Convocation, right, which is tomorrow afternoon, I believe. And remember, we, the entire college, the faculty and staff, all our advisors, we are all here for you, to help you be successful. Good luck. Love it that you're in the college. Thank you.
I think he covered everything. Let's wrap it up.
That's right. Actually, what I really loved, Dr. LaCourse, before you leave, is that idea of the scaffolding. because that's exactly what this presentation is about. So thank you for just kind of putting it in that framework. We are here to talk to you about those tools, those building blocks that help build that scaffolding that you then actually do the construction on.
That was so pun heavy right now, but it's okay.
So what?
It was pun heavy.
That's
but
what I do. You're welcome.
But thank some kind of icebreaker. I'm getting the heck out of here.
Yes, we are. All right, well, to get other things started, to get you a little warmed up in this room as well, too, let's introduce you to what CNMS is in general. So what are the majors that make up this particular college? And we're going to do, a little interactive bit here. Can we start with our bio students? Let's start with the big crowd. Do we have bio students in the room? All right,
a lot of hands.
Good. BA and BS, we'll talk you through the difference eventually, but good. Yeah, how about our chemistry students? Oh, a little bit dwindling, but I'll tell you what, you're going to see everybody in those chem classes anyway. How about biochemistry? Nice, a little bit of combination there. We have math students in the room. Excellent. Here again, you're going to see everyone in your classes anyway, so great. And I see a little bit of scattering there, but you'll find your people for sure.
And don't forget bioinformatics.
Bioinformatics is a good one, yeah.
It's a smaller grouping
proud.
of students.
Right here in the front.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Big
yeah.
and proud.
I love it. How about statistics? In the back. Great. Oh, we got a couple statistics, folks. And then also, how about our...
Physics.
Sure, we'll do physics. In the side
And how
there.
about
Good.
our
Welcome.
future educators? Any biology education, physics education,
Chemistry education.
We have some educators.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. And the idea here is while we also have a lot of places where we will diverge eventually in our majors, again, the point is that you are still under that umbrella of the College of Natural and Mathematical Sciences. And again, these are the faces you will see day in, day out. These are the faces you will also see the day you go to graduate. So it's good to just make some introductions in this space, but also within the first day of classes. Just take that first brave step and start introducing yourself to others. That is the step one in the toolkit.
Absolutely, and in terms of familiar faces, we are part of the advising team, so know that, like Dr. LaCourse mentioned, your advisor is your go-to spot. You know, I often say that students need to find just one person or one office on campus that they can go to, and they might not be able to get all their answers there, but they can get directions to the right offices. And often, advising is that go-to spot. It also could be our actual location is right above Starbucks and Chick-fil-A, but we do get a lot of traffic, and we often are a hub for just kind of getting your questions answered or getting directed to the right folks. And we'll definitely go through our advising team in a little bit more detail in the slides to come.
Yeah, we're also going to talk to you a little bit about our student success initiatives. And as a quick little preview, that is the handout that you have here. An overview about what your college is offering for science skills supports. And we're going to go into detail about that in just a moment. But to introduce ourselves a little bit more and break that ice, I'm sorry, actually, Julie, talk to us about.
Yes, absolutely. So CNMS, the College of Natural and Mathematical Sciences, is potentially a permanent home for students that are exploring, or it could be a temporary home. And know that so many students actually change their major during their time here at UMBC. So a third of students change their major, a tenth of students do it a few times. So know that changing your major is not always a bad thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to extend your time here at UMBC. Not having a major right now, maybe being in this room as an exploratory student, is definitely an option. We have tons of different resources available that help you explore your different areas of interest. So go ahead, take some classes, figure out what you like and what you don't like. That's going to be equally as important. And know that we have resources like our Office of Academic and Pre-Professional Advising, who goes through and helps exploratory students in their advising journey. But we also have our Career Center can help you figure out which career options fit you best. Where are your strengths and weaknesses at? And we even have a tool called the What If Degree Audit. So if you go to the Career Center and you figure out, okay, this is a good career, this may be a fitting major, I wonder how close I am to graduation. We have tools called the What If Degree Audit. So now we encourage students to explore, and it doesn't necessarily need to be an area of weakness. Some students like, I'm thinking about changing my major and I'm really embarrassed to say it. It's not a bad thing at all. Everyone does it. I did it.
Yes, 100% of the people on this stage right now have changed their major, and also probably a number of times. And I think it's important to mention that it is really common for that change of major to be within the college as well. So one of the great things about CNMS is that a lot of our introductory coursework, you'll alternatively hear us call that core coursework, is actually transferable to within the other majors. So for all those people who raise their hand for bio, if you start really enjoying chem, join our biochem or our bioinformatics students in their room, right? It's very easy to make that change within our department and out of our department, like Julie's referring to.
Absolutely. And if you find that UMBC is your home, but maybe we don't have the major that really interests you, know we have an individualized study program where you can build your own degree. One of the biggest ones we often hear, and Christine's going to nod her head, is neuroscience.
Absolutely.
100%, we hear that a few times during each advising season, that a student's interested in neuroscience, they don't want to transfer out. We want to keep them here at UMBC, and we want to make sure that we can give them everything they're looking to learn over these next few years. So with the individualized study program, you can build your own major. And if we do have some transfer folks in the room, know that it's not too late to consider the individualized study program. Often within the first few years, you're just exploring different areas of interest. You're taking and getting the groundwork, if we're going back to the puns, we're doing the groundwork in terms of, those early STEM courses, in particular if you're thinking neuroscience. So know that the INDS or Individualized Study Program coursework doesn't necessarily need to start within your first year or two. So graduation can still be on that timeline you had in mind, even if you are considering the Individualized Study Program. I know we have tons of different resources for our students, whether they be INDS or exploring other majors. We have a lot of transition resources, and we have Layla, if you want to, yes, Layla Shishine. She works with a lot of our transition coursework, so you may even have her as an instructor in this semester or future semester. We have transfer seminars, first-year experience courses, first-year seminar courses, lots of different resources in addition to tutoring and things like that we'll talk about later on. But tons of resources not only for the students that are in our college, maybe students that are thinking INDS, maybe students that are thinking exploring different options. Know that we are here to help you through the whole journey.
And within that individualized study area, part of our guest speaker series that we'll talk about later on is we will have people coming from that department to talk to you about ways that students within our college find avenues forward with a build your own major kind of framework. They do things like neuroscience, but some of the other really popular ones are biomimicry. We have astrobiology, which is really popular as well. And so they are going to come about once a month to talk to you about those areas of interest too. So yeah, I think that's really good to know there's a strong connection, again, within our college and that program. So should we get to know each other now?
Let's go for it.
All right, so let's start with how many of you are from a different country? We're going to start global and work our way in here. Yeah, we definitely see some. Yeah, be proud. They're kind of low hands. I'd love to see them higher. How many of you are from the West Coast?
Any West Coaster? We have one.
Nice, great.
Midwest?
Midwest. We're doing a little geography test. It's like, I'm on the border, yeah. How about here, somewhere on the East Coast? I'm sure we're going to see some. Okay, let's see how many we keep up, okay? How about from Mid-Atlantic?
Once again, geography.
What is Maryland? That existential crisis of, is Maryland north or south? I don't know. How about, how many of you are from Maryland specifically? There we go. How many of you are from Baltimore County? Okay,
wow,
yeah.
I'm shocked.
What was that?
It's not that many from Baltimore County.
Not from Baltimore County, but we could do a lot of our local community colleges, and our students come from Howard. You can raise your hands, right? Anne Arundel County, Montgomery County. PG, there we go, yeah. And so think about all of the great diversity we just saw here, right? In terms of where we're all coming from. Let's also talk about those career interests, other things that might connect us as well. How many of you, can we start with the big one here as well too? How many of you would like to pursue a medical doctorate?
Like a health profession in general.
Well, we could do health profession, yeah.
A lot of health professions.
I figured, yeah, absolutely. How about going into a biological research field? Fun. How about combination, MD, PhD? Do we have some folks who are, yes, I like to see that, yeah.
How about thinking maybe a master's program after UMBC? You're like, I haven't taken my first class in college yet, or I'm graduating to UMBC, but I'm thinking about my master's program.
And how many of you are particularly stressed out by this question? Thank you, yeah, and
Mom
that's
and Dad
the point.
Want to know, what are you going to do with your life? Yes.
That's the point, right? So in this first year, it is important to kind of start talking about your career interests and whatnot, but it is also important to see that there are so many ways to get to your end goal, right? And you do want to be taking this time to explore those options as we go.
And speaking of goals, how about semester goals? How many of you are shooting for a 4.0 this semester? Hopefully everyone can have their hands up. Okay. How many of you are looking to join at least maybe one club or organization?
Oh, please, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How many of you are hoping to call home to family at least once a week?
Be compassionate.
As the mom who cried dropping her kid off at school today, I hope everyone calls their parents.
Yes, I did not. And my mother called about 8 people and 1 shy of the police. So call your parents, that's correct. And then also, how many of you want to form a study group? That's the last one I'll say. Let's make that a goal. Yeah, use those resources, join a study group. This is what I want to see, exactly. Now, this is the important one.
Absolutely. We need that caffeine as college students. We have 2 different we'll say 3 coffee big options here on campus. We have Einstein's, we have Dunkin', and we have Starbucks. So let's figure out what everyone is going for. Where
Very
are my
polarizing.
Einstein folks at? Einstein Brothers? The bagel place, they have coffee too. Okay, we've got an
In the
Einstein.
library, yeah.
We have an Einsteiner at this point.
One
How
Einstein.
about Dunkin'? Where are DDs? Yes.
I'm actually a MDD
You're
over
Dunkin'.
Starbucks.
I'm not a coffee girl. I'm like a Dr. Pepper girl, but it's okay. And Starbucks. Where's our Starbies? I think the Dunkin' and Starbucks are pretty tied.
They are pretty tight, but it could be like a coffee and study group situation too, is what I like here. Very good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was delightful.
Yes.
We will now go back and talk a little bit about, again, that structure we were talking about, the fact that you kind of have to build your success here at UMBC brick by brick. So what is part of the toolkit, the things that we can provide, the things that you should kind of consider fostering within yourself too, to make sure that you are successful here at UMBC?
One thing that we like to really stress is the academic advising portion of your journey here at UMBC. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and touch on all these areas in terms of where can you find your advisor? How can you contact them? What does it mean to do advising? This may be your first experience working with an academic advisor, and then what academic advising can do in terms of helping you plan the next few semesters and or with academic support. So in general, we do have a QR code that will direct you to our departmental advising list. So maybe you're thinking about switching your major. You want to check in with an advisor from psychology, for instance. You can check out that list and figure out the advising contacts for that other department. I see a lot of folks using the QR code.
Oh, yeah. But I will say it's also normal to have multiple advisors you reach out to. So it's very typical for you to be meeting with us for a major, but we do encourage you to know who your minor advisor might be as well too, right?
Absolutely.
So it's very normal to meet with multiple people.
Especially for our folks that are thinking pre-health, you may follow up with your health professions advisor each semester, or honors college folks, you'll be meeting with honors college. So no, all those contacts are on the website, so that's a good thing. In terms of our particular office, it's Christine and I, as well as Candace Racine, who is another advisor, and Emma Barnaby, who is our student success coach. We are the professional advisors in the CNMS advising office that is located in UC 205, like I mentioned, right above Starbucks and Chick-fil-A, next to the Chem Discovery Center. So some of you may...
can bring Dunkin' to our office.
You can bring Dunkin', absolutely.
Just bring 2.
But we are right next to the Chem Discovery as well. So some of you may be going to class right next door to our office. And know how our model works within our particular office is that typically a first semester student will meet with one of the professional advisors. So either myself, Christine, Candace, Emma. You'll meet with us. Our goal is within that first semester that you can meet with a professional advisor to make sure that you are getting settled to UMBC, making sure you have those AP scores sent to us, making sure you sent us your last transcript from your previous institution. Some of those nuts and bolts things, teaching you how to search the schedule, teaching you how to read your degree audit, things like that. And the professional advisors are the go-to for those resources. But know that once you typically have earned 30 credits or beyond your first semester in the life sciences, what we will do is we will have you transition to a faculty member for advising. And they're great for things like preparing for a career in your particular field because they're in the field that you're interested in. They're great when it comes to connecting with potential research or internship opportunities, networking and things like that. But they can also help you when it comes to classes. They will help and ensure that you're using the tools to get to graduation in a timely fashion. What's most important to keep in mind is that we will send you advising emails each and every single semester. So we can't forget about advising because we will email you a ton, especially in the month of October and then again in March. So although the first day of classes hasn't come up quite yet, by October you're going to get an email saying, let's start coming in for advising because you'll be registering for spring classes as early as November. So it will be a process, but we are here to walk you through that process and know that you are required to meet with an advisor each and every single semester. So we will send your advisor assignment to you, it'll be posted in your MyUMBC account, and you'll follow up with your advisor. You'll talk about what's going right, what may not be going right, but make sure to come to your advising appointment prepared and honest, so that way we can help you. In terms of figuring out how to get to your appointment, check your email. Each advisor does advising a little bit differently. There may be in person, there may be online appointments, but the big thing is connect with your advisor right away so we can remove that hold, and then you can register for classes in a timely fashion.
Exactly.
Academic planning tools. So we have a ton of different resources available through your MyUMBC account. And hopefully you've gone through your profile to figure out the different tools that we have available, whether they be degree audit that breaks down everything you need for graduation, or if you're looking to start planning out these next few semesters, you can use Pathways. It is a sample graduation plan, but it's a sample of one way to get to graduation. I can say, Christine and I have been doing this for over 12 years, and not one single student has ever followed the pathway. It's just a sample. It is just an example of some common course combinations that work for students, but in the end, we want you to come up with what works best for you. But no, if you do want a sample graduation plan, we have those listed on Pathways. Google is your friend if you're looking to figure out what are the requirements for the physics major. UMBC, physics, major requirements, searching Google. Google's our friend too. So many times we say, well, I don't know the answer, but I can Google. So know that use those resources, but if you have any questions, you can always follow up with your advisor. And like I mentioned earlier, your supplemental advisor may include your pre-health advisor. So it could be an allied health advisor or maybe a pre-med, pre-den advisor, as well as we even have pre-law advising at UMBC now. So lots of different resources available. Follow up with your advisor, check out Pathways, use tools like a degree audit, and you'll really be set up for the advising season.
Yeah, there's also just a huge number of ways that we also make sure that we are supporting you. Dr. LaCourse talked about your time here as kind of like a social contract for my political scientists in there, like a Rousseau social contract. Which are probably not many people in this room. But when it comes to the support that we provide, there are support systems in place both within your major and in every single class that you're going to take here at UMBC. Starting with your major, one of our colleagues is Emma Barnaby, and she is the student success coach within the college. She does meet with students on a regular basis. We call them accountability meetings. If you're someone who could use just a little bit of that structure, you know yourself, so you specifically know what it was like to go through times when you didn't have as much structure in school. We're thinking back to when you were doing some online learning. Think about how you performed during that time, and if you think that having additional structure would be helpful, Emma can actually meet with you on a bi-weekly basis just to make sure that we're touching base and that we are giving you the timely support that you need to be successful. Our student success coach also can do a one-off meeting. If you get an exam back and you're really not sure how to understand the results or you want to improve from that, bring the test to Emma and she can actually help you with that process as well too. So we have someone there to coach you through all of our introductory courses here at UMBC, specifically in the sciences. Within your first 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I think, your instructor will also be kind of taking a look at how you're performing in their class. And if they do have concerns about your grade or your recent exams, they are actually going to send out something called a first year alert. And these are fantastic things to keep in mind and to watch for because they are given to you early enough in the semester that there's plenty of time for intervention. Your only job, to intervene, right? Or to engage with the support systems that we have to make sure that we do get that grade where we want it in the long run. Many students who get these first year alerts end up with that grade they were looking for in the long run as well. Just because you get a first year alert does not mean you're going to end up not passing the class. Many students get an A or a B in that class with a little bit of intervention. So watch for those first year alerts. Don't get discouraged. Get kind of like
Be reactive
energized.
with it.
React to it, yes, and seek that support that you're looking for. Emma can also help with discussing your grades. So if you wanted to just find out what do I need to get to pass this class, or what do I need to do to pass this science class, she can assist with that as well. And some of the things that we offer, and we'll go into this in greater detail, is that our office actually hosts not just those success meetings, so you see the information on your worksheet there, but she also does help with biology practice exams, study halls, and we bring people to you in a workshop series so that we make sure that our science students are supported using all of the resources that we have in campus. And we will talk about that also in just a moment. Some of the examples of what Emma can do, I did cover a little bit already, but again, know that there is both one-on-one support and these overarching workshop series. I am sure if you just logged into your MyUMBC account this week and you checked your email, you see a lot of emails from my office specifically and from Emma already talking to you about the workshops that we hosted over the summer. Last week we did a Get Ready for School boot camp where we actually again talk through things like how to form a study group, what is the good way of hosting a study group, and we also help you meet students in a study group social as well. But our workshops vary from week to week, but they are going to take place on Wednesdays, every Wednesday from 12 to 1 in the University Center, directly behind Starbucks and Chick-fil-A, right? So we are all very centrally located in that area. That space is called the Learning Collaboratory, and we do have 4 major pillars that we work on to make sure that we're helping you grow in a holistic manner, meaning we care about your academics, but as Dr. LaCourse said, we also care about you as an individual, and we want to make sure that you're ready for that next step in your career. So we do talk about your career readiness. We talk about the real drive that you should have to explore within the sciences. That is part of being a scientist, is to ask those questions, test things out, make adjustments. And so that is something that the TLC is dedicated to, as well as just your personal development and making sure that we're embracing the diversity within our group and our college, because that is where we actually come up with the innovation that our college is known for. Some of the events, and I did talk about this already, but we are going to offer study halls for your intro biology and chemistry classes. Sorry, math, we're working on you. And we will have a space, we will have a space for you to go. And honestly, if you just want to build in these sessions of study halls into your schedule to help with regular study habits, it's just a great idea to do that, and to do that with your peers. So it will be open to all science, biology, and chemistry students. You have the hours on your handout already. And we do provide practice problems specifically for intro-level chemistry and biology classes. So if you wanted to come and just sit with a group of people, work through some practice problems, that's exactly what we're offering in the Learning Collaboratory.
And just to be clear, this will not be tutoring. Emma will not be tutoring you on bio or chem, but she's there to provide the practice problems to help you create that study group, to make sure, like, give you some pressure, like, oh, I really want to show up and be there at one time so I can get the full hour study group or anything like that. Just know it's not going to be tutoring. It's more just like a space where you can connect with other students that are preparing for similar exams and things like that.
And particularly it's been very highly utilized by commuters. It's great for commuters, it's great for people who are looking for just that space also sometimes between classes to sit in a quiet spot that's conducive to studying and to also be around other people studying the same topics you are. Right? So we do have those study hall hours available. We are going to help you put together study groups in a number of study group socials on the third week of class, I think are the dates we just picked, but stay tuned for that. So you actually come and you're gonna let us know when do you wanna study, where do you wanna study, and we will help you kind of connect with your peers at that moment. So we can help you with that as well. With chemistry, we also offer practice exams. So your chemistry professor works with us, provides us with a practice exam, and then you can come to the TLC space, which is up on this screen, and you can see, I pointed to myself, but you can actually just go through a timed testing practice test. It can also help if you're not used to just the testing environment or the way that we teach and test. So it does actually assist with that. Keep in mind, Emma can also help you after your exams kind of debrief from that, because you are supposed to be learning from exams whether you performed well or you didn't perform as well as you had hoped. There is a learning process that should take place after that exam as well. I mentioned that we have guest speakers. Some example of the guest speakers that we have coming in, these are Mondays from 12 to 1 in the TLC, include the individualized study program. So conversations about things like neuroscience pathways is going to take place. That's about once a month they come in. But we're also going to have the Career Center come in multiple times to talk to you about getting into your industries, right? What are your industries? What can I do with my major? And how do I get there? How do I get that first internship? My first research experience, and we have a panel on that as well. Our skills workshops do range from everything you see up on the screen, so I don't have to read them out because we will tell you on a weekly basis what those themes are. But these workshops do take place on the Wednesdays from 12 to 1. If you need a reminder of this, again, all on that worksheet, so we do hope that you engage with us there. And one thing that ties in very nicely to the topic of this presentation in general is that our workshops are going to, one by one, help you kind of work your core, we call it, right? But we're going to call it work your core competencies. Does everyone have an idea about what a core competency is? It's a key word that you're going to hear if you are a medical student. Oh, this is
Please tell us more.
I know. I'm so excited to share this with you. Yeah. Core competencies are a set of kind of softer skills. And by soft, I mean that medical schools, other industries need you to come ready with a set of either science, medical skills, or the technical skills needed for that particular industry. A core competency are the things that they want to see. So again, performing well in your classes is a necessity for that next step, but what gets you into that next job tends to be things like teamwork, like leadership, like service. And these are things that if you look at the medical school admissions information, they have an entire website dedicated to these core competencies. And the idea of our workshops and our guest speakers is to help you actually grow in each of these core competency areas. Some of the other things are global awareness. Global engagement is really important and essential to getting into a medical school as well, too. So our workshops in the TLC are dedicated to those core competencies, and we specifically will tell you, we are developing this in this session, right, to make sure that you are working to be the strongest candidate for whatever your next step is after graduation. So developing those core skills as well as your technical ones in the classroom. Now, I spent a little bit of time talking about support within your sciences, so within your chemistry and your biology programs. And we did talk about a little bit more freestyle support at this point, right? But we do have a dedicated center for all of your academic success needs, and they are called the Academic Success Center appropriately, right? And some of the things that they can assist with is they do help with the tutoring aspect. And so this is a center that we want everyone to engage with on a regular basis. This is where you get the group and one-on-one tutoring sessions in your biology and your chemistry classes, as well as, so in addition to what we just talked about, your physics, your math, your statistics, your poly, your English,
I was gonna say, even outside the
every
sciences.
single
Yeah.
class that you're in right now. If you look at your schedule, there's a tutoring session and support for every single class there.
Including English 100. I know the folks that came to orientation earlier this summer grabbed a seat in English 100. I know
That's
it's
right.
closed now, but we even have the Writing Center available, and you don't have to just use the Writing Center for English. If you have a paper due in philosophy, you can still consult with the Writing Center to help you. So lots of great resources.
Lots of great resources, again, in every single class that you take. Utilizing these resources on a regular basis also helps with time management, right? It just becomes part of your schedule. It will become a habit. So keep this group in mind. But also they can assist with any policy information or issues that you come across or have difficulty with. If you also need more coordinated care, meaning maybe you're running into issues in a couple of areas in your academic kind of time here at UMBC, but it also starts to stretch into your finances or your housing concerns, or truly anything that you feel is going to keep you from being able to stay at UMBC, we want you to engage with our advocacy group. And those advocates are listed in your MyUMBC account, so you can always find out who your advocate is, and you can engage with them if you ever need that kind of coordinated care.
And in terms of additional support available, Christine mentioned we have various different STEM tutoring options, whether it be the Chem Tutorial, the Bio Learning Center, Math Science Tutorial Center, which is through our Academic Success Center. We also have general tutoring, like we said, for philosophy or history or soc. We have SI Pass, which is supplemental instruction, peer-assisted study sessions. It's a mouthful. SI Pass is so much easier to say, but it's peer-supported weekly tutoring. I often hear from students, I love SI Pass right before exams. Is it most utilized right before exams? Yes, but it's offered otherwise as well. But a lot of times students like to get that extra help from their peers that have been through these classes right before exams. But then know that your instructors will have office hours. It's mandatory. It'll be in your syllabus. Make sure to read through your syllabus. That should be something else we need to add for next year. Read your syllabus.
That's right. That's right. That's first week success right there. Absolutely. Is looking at that syllabus and knowing when those office hours are and maybe jotting them in your calendar too, that you do utilize them. Professors wait for you to show up, believe it or not, and they actually are hoping that their students come to their office hours. You are not putting them out at all. They want to see you there. They love talking about their particular areas of research and also their classes, and they want you to be successful. That's why we have office hours. So really a key component to success.
And no, you may not be one-on-one with the professor where it can be a little bit awkward and you don't know, what to say, or maybe you want to be like kind of go into the weeds a little bit more. That's an option too. We often see that with Orgo. Dr. Girash's door is open and there's 10 students crammed into her office working through problems on her chalkboard. It's not even a whiteboard.
She does have a chalkboard.
So know that, depending upon the course, it may not be just a one-on-one session. You may be able to go in, and if you're someone who doesn't want to ask the questions, is more of a listener, that could be an option with office hours as well. So know that that's an option. In terms of student disability support services, I believe we have their table back there.
Cassie, right up there.
I see a wave, so that's a good thing. Know that that's available through our tabling fair in the back. If you do identify as someone with a disability, register with SDS as soon as possible. We have a rep here today, so get your questions answered. But know if maybe you've already connected with Student Disability Support Services, keep in mind that you are required to submit semester request in the Accommodate portal in order to get our Disability Support Services office to send the letters out to your professors in regards to your accommodations. So make sure that you do that each and every single semester. And like we said earlier, review your syllabus, figure out early if you do need a change in accommodations. Check in with your professor, let them know that you will have a letter sent to them, have that communication started early. So in case you need additional support, we are here to help. And like I said, stop by their table in the back.
There she
We
is.
also have a link to their website as well as their email address if you do want to follow up with the Student Disability Services office after today.
Yeah, and I will say that students hesitate to turn in a lot of this accommodation information until, and Cassie will probably know this, midterms, right? Is that when you start to get a lot of people going, oh man, I should have turned that in, right? So this is something to get ahead of, right? If you had accommodations before, if you think you should have accommodations, begin having some discussions with the table up there at the top. Thank you, Cassie. Yeah, so in terms of kind of what to expect this first year in general, we do, again, to go back to those core competencies, we ask you to consider some of the following skill sets, right? These are the things that are really going to help with this adjustment into college.
And I have to go first because if I give Christine the time management, it's not the person to give this topic to.
I got here on time today.
But this is just an example. Christine's not real strong with time management.
No.
She's not. But you know what she said from 12 years ago when we
12 years
started
ago.
working? I'm not strong with time management. I said, I am. I'm an organizer. I am late if I'm not 10 minutes early. And that's what makes us work well, is she figured out where her strengths and her weaknesses are. She discussed them with me, and then I can help. Like I told her, I said, you have to get to campus by 6:45 this morning. And it was just, it was a joke, but it was, an artificial report time, so that way she felt the pressure to get here on time.
And I made it from New York down here within 24 hours and beat you in today, right?
Absolutely.
But she's right. I use not just Julie, but I also have another coworker in my office who's always thinking of the next month, the next couple weeks, and always doing that planning ahead. And that's the dynamic that works in my office. It's the dynamic that if you don't necessarily have the best time management skills, which I am going to be a lifelong learner in that area, trier in that area, right? I'm going to always be experimenting with time management. But I will say it's important to keep trying to improve in those areas, but finding the support that you would need to make sure that you are successful in your area. And sometimes that does mean external support a little bit too. So it can be a roommate. Don't put it all on your roommate though, just in general. But find a way to make sure that you are showing up for class on time. Dr. LaCourse even mentioned if you get into, you will start to notice who's walking to class at the same time you are. That is something I actually utilized when I was a student, right? Knock on my door if I'm sleeping, get me up, something like that. And so finding the skills within yourself, but also finding the support sometimes from others and admitting when you sometimes have a bit of a difficulty in an area.
And Emma will have time management workshops throughout the
She
semester,
will.
so that's going to be a good thing. Also, the big thing is to be flexible, whether you're coming in as a freshman or a transfer. It could be things like, it could take a little bit longer for your APs to post than you anticipated. It could take a little bit longer than your change of major form took that you anticipated. Or it could be flexible like, this isn't my ideal schedule. I really wanted to be in X class, but I didn't get a seat. That's okay. There's so much time for things to process. There's time for you to catch up if you weren't able to get into a particular class. Be flexible and know that a lot can change over these next few years, whether it be your classes, your major, your friend group, your time management habits, your organization habits. Flexibility will be important, but I can say I'm more inflexible. I have my time management down, but I'm not good with flexibility.
We definitely are opposite on that one, yeah. And I think that when it comes to flexibility, I can say this, your study skills this week I hope, are not the same ones that you have in the middle of the semester and at the end of the semester. And the successful students by the end of the semester are the ones who were flexible, the ones who made adjustments as they went along.
Absolutely, and embrace this independence that you're getting. It's new. It could be new from going from high school to UMBC or maybe even community college to UMBC. It's a newfound sense of independence. It could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. And just know that there will be ups and downs, like Dr. LaCourse said. Maybe this is the first time that you're living on your own, things like that. But know that you will get stronger as the semester goes on and as the years go on at UMBC. So take this new independence and responsibility and know that you're going to screw up. You're going to oversleep. You're going to, wait to the last minute to do a paper and things like that. It happens, but this is truly a learning experience. Our goal is that your time here at UMBC is not just academics. You have so many other life skills that you're building, whether it be for the workforce or graduate school after UMBC. But some of these skills like time management, independence, responsibility, and organization are all skills that you're going to build upon here, and it's going to be lifelong skills. So know that you don't have to get everything right on the first attempt. You have plenty of time to refine those skills.
Yeah, and I would say the one that you just tapped on that's not up there is resiliency. I think that, again, you will encounter setbacks. It happens to every single person on a kind of semesterly, kind of cyclical basis. So it is important that you know how to brush yourself off and move forward. If you have a bad exam, that is expected, that is normal, but what do we do moving forward?
Absolutely. And what do? We look at these tips and tricks.
Yes, we do, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say UMBC is full of nooks and crannies, right?
Absolutely.
And so what's important is that you find your specific space on campus. If you haven't already been on a campus tour during Welcome Week, I think they're happening in the next few days even, somewhere over the weekend though. If you haven't already done that, take a campus tour on your own or with your new friends that you've met on campus, because every building has a place where you could potentially study, get a little bit of peace and quiet, or kind of make your own. And finding that space is something that will help you through your entire time here at UMBC, but especially if you start now and you get ahead on that, it's going to help you in the next few weeks too.
And it becomes part of your routine. You know, okay, it's lunchtime. I'm typically in this building. I'm eating lunch. I'm studying, things like that. So building those routines will be super important. But you're not really a routine girl, but I am. But it works. If you really figure out what works. And it's reevaluating things, where that's one of Christine's strengths is in terms of being flexible and figuring out, this is working, this isn't working. Reevaluate your study plan, reevaluate your exams, study habits, and know that a lot can change, and it's not a bad thing. And typically, my mom always said, the first exam and the last exam are the hardest. That's what she always said through college. And I really didn't understand at the time, but it is true. You don't know what to expect at the first exam, and then by the end, you're like, oh, I do know what to expect. I do know it's going to be cumulative.
And it's going to be a lot, yeah.
There's a lot of time in between to kind of adjust things. And like Christine has mentioned throughout, seek help early. We have tons of different free resources available. They're here for you to use, and they're readily available. It's not like it's a waiting list for these resources and things like that. So definitely take advantage of that help and seek it nice and early.
That's right. In terms of how to prepare for this semester, here are just a couple things to also build a checklist, work your way down the next few things we're going to talk about. And the first thing is double check your academic record. Do we have your APs? Do we have all of your classes that we need to see? And double check the ones that you're currently in as well, right? So double check your schedule. How many of you looked at it recently?
Good answer. I love
Good
this.
answer, yeah. How many of you printed it out? There's my print, people.
I think you're old school. I think it's how many of you have a screenshot on your phone
Oh, boo. I love the printout thing still, definitely old school, but it is a learning, it's the way I learn.
Yep.
I do need to see that reinforcement. I'm a big planner person in terms of I like to write things on a planner. Find what you are. Screenshot, paper, right? And then make sure you double checked your schedule, particularly if you were in any wait list of a class. So just to address the big wait list issue, you do get auto-enrolled in those classes if a seat opens up.
And if you're not above the credit threshold, and if you have a spot
blocked.
open in your schedule. So it's auto-enroll is theoretically what should happen all the stars align.
Exactly. But the point is to make sure that the stars align, to make sure that you are kind of seeing if you got into any waitlisted classes. If any of you were in a waitlisted class, but we're expecting to drop another course once you got into that class, make those adjustments now. But you do have, technically, until September 13th, so 2 weeks into the semester, to add, drop, or swap classes in your schedule. Little caveat with the wait list, though, they drop after the first week. So you do want to look at your schedule now, look at it a week from now, look at it 13 days from now. Don't wait till the last day. Absolutely. But yeah, 2 weeks into the semester, just to make sure, am I in the classes that I thought I was in? Where do they meet? How many components do my classes have, right? So classes like chemistry have lectures, discussions, test sections, test times, that kind of thing. So really just get to know your schedule and make sure everything looks good.
And we mentioned this earlier, but check your syllabus too, because there's some classes that if you wait until the 13th to register, may have missed a quiz or you may have missed attendance points and you're already disadvantaged.
Yeah.
So we like to say have your schedule finalized by when you come back after Labor Day. That's
100%.
ideal. But you have some flexibility, but hopefully you're just kind of swapping sections until the 13th and not adding new classes because that could be overwhelming.
And if you are someone who is considering switching your science classes specifically, that's a situation where we would encourage you to actually follow up with an advisor, just to make sure we're not making any switch or swaps out of classes that are going to affect graduation timelines. In terms of your ability to add, drop, and swap classes, you can do that on your own. Watch to make sure you're constantly in 12 credits though, and we encourage the swap function more than just adding and dropping classes.
It's safer. We don't want you to lose a seat.
Exactly.
In terms of getting situated on campus, Christine has mentioned campus tours. That's a good way to kind of get started. I can say, even as a transfer student, I got here a few days before classes started, and I looked around, I peeked in the classroom, figured out where my ideal seat would be and things like that. So definitely take advantage of the tours that will be available through the next few days. And you can also check your MyNBC group. Like Christine mentioned, sometimes you're auto-enrolled in groups, such as the CNMS advising group. So definitely, follow those groups that you're interested in, as well as keep up with notifications. MyNBC is a Google campus, so tons of great Google resources. I'm a Google Calendar girl, you are as well. So just know that those resources are available, whether it be, using the notes or the Google Calendar, and then begin checking Blackboard. Some students come to us, especially our transfer students, say, I've never used Blackboard before. I don't know where to get started. So start looking into Blackboard. Don't freak out if the classes aren't open quite yet.
That's true. Mine is not. That's my time management issue again.
But know that Blackboard will be available. Not all grades will be posted on Blackboard. That's something else that kind of catches students by surprise, that sometimes you have to calculate your grade on your own, and that's not a bad thing, and Emma can help with that as well.
That's right.
But know that those resources are available through Blackboard, where you'll have a copy of your syllabus, ideally a grade book that gets updated frequently, as well as actual class materials.
Yeah, I think chemistry usually in the long run puts out a grade calculator as well. It's a link to like a Google Excel spreadsheet or whatnot, but it does allow you to actually say, what if I get a such and such % on my next exam? What can my final grade be? So grade calculators can also pop out in your chemistry classes via Blackboard.
Absolutely. And within the next few days, when you're searching out for your classrooms, also get your textbooks, figure out what's required. It'll be in the syllabus. I encourage you to try to get your textbooks as soon as possible. That's another thing that students don't realize they need until they're midway through the semester. They're like, I bet I would have done better on those first 2 exams if I read the textbook.
And spoiler alert, some of those textbooks are in Blackboard as well. So some of them actually have online versions within your Blackboard website as well. So could actually tie in there. You had a question? Online versions are typically no. Now it does actually differ.
Sometimes it's built into the course fees already.
Course fees.
Some of them have, there's a term for it, but it's like generalized course material already built in.
Sure, yeah.
I believe chemistry is that way.
Chemistry is that way, yeah. So it does depend, is I guess the answer there, but usually the online is built into class and course fees.
Absolutely. And then there's tons of great apps. I'm going to let Christine, our success person, go over through some of our apps.
Let's go over time management again, yeah. Some of the ways that you want to kind of find what works for you, this is going to be a trial and error kind of situation, just like what a scientist would do, right? Experiment, see what works, make adjustments. But some of the things you want to do are consider some apps that you can even have on your phone that help you manage your time, help with focus, help with breaking down bigger tasks into smaller, more manageable ones. And we did even say here, go digital and old school for a little while. Find out what works best for you. The paper planner, the Google Calendar, both, if you're me, and then still a lot of
Post-its.
Post-its, yeah, work for me. There's Jamboard, dry erase boards. A lot of folks put a dry erase board sometimes in your dorm room. And so test out what might work best for you. And I will also say some helpful apps that can help with time management are the ones that you see up on the board. Has anyone heard of these? We'll do a quick little raise of hands because some of them hopefully are already existing in high school. But how about Forest? Yeah, okay,
awesome.
yeah, we got a couple. Flora. These are actually apps that we heard from your previous peers that have helped them in college. But Evernote and Rocketbook are more note-taking. Forest and Flora are more for time management techniques as well, too, and just staying on top of that.
Absolutely. In terms of today and beyond, like I said, our goal is that you're not only going to get a strong education and you're not only going to build yourself up for your next step at UMBC, but we also want you to gain experience inside and outside of the classroom. So do well in your classes ideally, but also think about service learning, thinking about studying abroad, think about, maybe getting an internship or a research opportunity on or off campus. And that helps you start preparing for the future. For me, I went into an internship and realized that wasn't the field I wanted. But I was glad that I did it before I graduated. So, internships can be really good that help solidify this is my spot, or maybe this isn't my spot. But know that getting experience outside the classroom will help you figure out what your next spot will be and solidify those interests and help you figure out what do I need to do now in order to get that job down the road or in order to get to grad school. And it sounds silly to start having to look ahead at job postings or admissions criteria for graduate school. But if you start doing that now, you can build it up at a nice manageable pace as opposed to senior year, you have to take all these extra classes to get the prereqs in, or you're working so many extra hours doing research because you didn't do that previously. So definitely start thinking about what you can do now in order to be, successful in the future and get involved. It doesn't have to just be academics. We want you to join clubs and organizations. Students who get connected are more likely to graduate. So definitely take advantage of the clubs and organizations and know that it doesn't have to be, joining the SGA. It could be just being in a smaller group that's more intimate that works for you. Groups can not only just build relationships, but it could be a network. Oh, how'd you get that internship? Do you think you could hook me up with that? Or, maybe even help you with your classes. I didn't know you were also in my chemistry class. Let's study together. But know that those groups can help join peers together as well as build up some resources like maybe you're learning time management. Maybe you're learning some leadership or getting some service through those groups. So
working those core competencies through your extra or co-curriculars. Absolutely. That tends to be actually how you prove those.
Yeah, so what we would say is challenge yourself, like Dr. LaCourse said. I'm not the big social girl, but I had to put myself out there to join those clubs and organizations so that way that I could get that true college experience. Also, like Christina's mentioned, manage your time. And utilize your free time as well. So, figure out what works for you. Maybe you're dealing with a commute that you've never dealt with before. Maybe you have 45 minutes on the road. What can I do in those 45 minutes? Will that just be the time where I'm just, listening to music? Or will I be maybe listening to lectures or things like that? Or even just connecting with podcasts. Maybe it's a podcast about going to medical school. You're using that time effectively to figure out, next best steps, even if it's something as, basic as your commute. And know that, we have tons of resources. Schedule them in and ask questions. Like I said, advising can be your spot. If you have questions, we can always refer you out. And most importantly, have fun.
Yeah, that is pretty important, actually. It's also important to know that we just spent like an hour telling you all of these things that are going to help you be a successful student, but it really comes down to you just engaging. That is the bottom line. Engage in the fun, engage in your classes, engage in the process that is college. It is really a wonderful experience, and you have a ton of support. Just advocate for yourself if you need help. It is always there, and start with it. Even if you think you've never needed tutoring before, in high school or whenever, start with it now to see if it's something that will be helpful, and at the very least, you will find a support group amongst your peers. So it is something to just get started, just jump in, lean into the college experience.
Yeah, and know that advisors are available throughout the school year, not just during advising season or not just during the first few weeks of the semester. So know if you have any questions in your life science major, you can follow up with us. If you're a math major, follow up with math, physics, follow up with the physics department. Know that we are here to help. I'm going to have Christine plug Instagram because that's her baby.
Oh, God, that's the saddest thing you could say. No, but we are on Instagram. And if you want to just follow us, this is where you'll also get a lot of information about the events that we're hosting. Just to let you know, though, they also go to your MyUMBC group. So Instagram is more also for, we're going to be posting like first week fitness, tips, 1 tip a day, kind of like taking what we talked about in this presentation and providing it to you in manageable steps. Just quick little reminders to get you through this first week. We also do little initiatives during like midterms, finals, just to make sure again that you are staying healthy and successful.
Absolutely. And for our exploratory folks, we have our Office of Academic and Pre-Professional Advising. If folks are considering INDS or individualized studies, we have their contact information. As well, if you want to learn more about our transition resources like our first year seminar or transfer seminars, we have those resources as well. But hopefully today you've learned something new, kind of got into that mindset of things will be good, things will be bad, but we have resources here to help you throughout the journey. So thank you guys for your time. We really appreciate it.
We do. Yeah, welcome. Congratulations. Yeah, we're excited to have you here. At this point, I believe you are waiting for your Woolies to come bring you to the next event. They should be here in just a few minutes. I don't actually see any shirts quite yet. Other than that, if you have questions, you can come on up. We'll just stand up here and you can ask us some questions. Other than that, we'll see you around campus. Enjoy. I have to cough so badly.
Hi. Hi everyone. Don't forget we have a academic resource fair up here on the track level. So please stop by the tables from a number of offices that have lots of free goodies for you, as well as academic resources. Come on up. There's raffles, there's people to meet, there's candy. Come on up.